they connect me to a math coach, which she is a academic advisor for my personal teacher's college. She reaches out to me and says, I hear you're having math teacher problems. I would like to come and meet with you to help you out with the problem. And I'm just like, yes, so many meetings, I'm happy about that. And I meet in her office and we talk about the situation. This got really serious and I just want to resolve the problem. I don't want to be a part of a lot of teacher problems. I just want to resolve the problem and tell you my situation and kind of just rant to you and tell you what happened and not make it so serious to the point where I am the issue. I get really annoyed because I got in so many meetings at this point that I was literally using half my time to go to meetings and the other half to finish my schoolwork for school, which was the main reason why I'm at college, is to learn and not be treated like crap by other teachers. It's just irritating because you're potentially paying teachers to give you a good education and I wasn't getting that. I was getting crap and I was being treated like shit. And I knew that's not what I deserved. And I knew that wasn't normal because when I told people about this that told me college will be great, it will go by fast, they were surprised to see that my first experience of college was a piece of shit. Yeah, I was the only one that they've heard that this has happened to. And it wasn't just one teacher, it was two. So I had two problems on my hand at the same time, the technology teacher and the math teacher. So I was having a lot of stress because I was dealing with all these meetings, and once the meetings were made, I couldn't cancel them. And as soon as the meetings were made, I wanted to cancel them. I wanted to be like, you know what, forget it. I will just deal with it. I will not even try to worry about it. I won't tell you anymore. I just wanted to let you know what has been going on and just keep me out of it because I don't want to be involved. But nonetheless, I got involved, and I'm not that mean, so I just agreed and was just very passive. I'm just like, yeah, and I explained what was going on. It was just a really big headache for me, because I was just repeating the situation over and over and over to different people, and I'm just like, this is exhausting. So I talked to this math advisor, because she used to be a math teacher, and she helped me out and took my side, as everyone else did, with the situation. And I'm pretty sure there's people out there that will agree with the math teacher, whatever your belief is, and I have nothing against that at all. I just don't understand. So let me know why she did that and what her beliefs are, so that way I can understand and other people can understand like me, because she didn't give us an explanation of why. And I never got to know her because I was just so pissed off. So maybe I just didn't give her the chance. But, I mean, it is what it is at this point. It's already over and I don't have her anymore. I won't ever have her throughout my whole experience of having this degree. So, yeah. And I ended up finishing all the units in the entire class on this online program, because I wanted to rush through it because there was this still promise of not having to show up to class other than for the tests on certain days. And I'm just like, oh wow, I don't have to show up for the tests, but I did have to show up for the worksheets that happened every single Monday, which I didn't mention before. I have math on Mondays and Wednesdays, but Mondays I have 2 classes, so I need to be on campus anyway. But Wednesday, that's the only class I have. So if I didn't have to show up for half the Wednesdays, or more than half, because there's only 5 tests and the rest are just work days, I'd be content. So I rushed through it for that exact reason, because I didn't want to be at the class for more than I had to. And after I finished all the units, I emailed her, because if I talked to her in class, I didn't want her lying and promising me something and not holding up to it, and me getting in trouble for missing class and me not having any evidence. So I emailed her and I told her I finished all the units. You told me that I can not show up to classes other than tests and worksheets. Can I skip those days and not show up, like you told me? And she said, I talked to the math program, and they said no. And I'm just like, wow, someone doesn't have great communication skills. If you don't know something, don't promise people and give them false hope for something. Especially with this, because math is already really stressful, and I'm really terrible at math, and it's my worst subject. So, knowing this, if you're going to teach a program, at least know what you're trying to teach. And she's not even teaching the program, she's just there watching and making sure that she can help you. And she's just walking around over your shoulder, making sure you're actually doing your work. That is all she's there for. And it's not like we're a preschool class. We're all adults. It's not like we need to be watched. And it's not even that we were taking a test. This math program online, if you got a problem wrong, you had an opportunity to fix it. And you can't cheat on anyone, because all the problems are all mixed up in different ways for each student. So there's literally no use to come to class for this online math class for a work day. You can do it at home, you can do it on campus, you can do it wherever you want. I don't know why you have to come to class for it. And she lied to me repetitively. I don't know if you can tell. I'm shaking because I'm so aggravated. I'm still aggravated after all this time, and I've already experienced the semester. It's already over, and I'm still pissed off about it. This is how much I'm just like, stop promising me. I didn't tell her this, but stop promising me things that you can't keep. So at this point, in order for you to get credit for the class, you have to sign in. So on the Wednesdays that it was just a work day, I would later on, after getting in that situation with her, and I have no work to do in her class, and I wasn't allowed to work on any other work from another class because it was just a math class, I was literally there just sitting on my phone, and whenever I was seen on my phone, she would tell me to turn it off. So I'd be sitting there staring at the wall doing nothing. And it was just a big waste of my time and a big waste of gas. As soon as I got the sign-in sheet, I would sign my name in pen, just in case she's that person, and walk out of the room. I would tell her, hey, I'm going to the bathroom, or hey, I'm going to call my family member, or hey, I'm going to call my doctor. And I would bring my stuff, and I would just leave. I was tired of it. I mean, there's no use of going. If I don't have to go, I won't go. It was just so irritating. So, she kind of caught on to what was happening, because as soon as I started to do that, I kind of started like a revelation, and people started doing the same thing, seeing that it was okay and she wasn't doing anything about it. Apparently, after a while of doing that, she noticed, and there was one time where I'm just like, okay, I actually have a reason to leave. My boyfriend needs me to help him, help drive him to get his blood work done or something like that. And so I sign in, and it took me a while to get the sign-in sheet, like a while. And it wasn't until like 30 minutes into the class until I got the sign-in sheet. And I was just sitting there waiting for it, because as soon as you get into the class, she passes around the sign-in sheet. So she was making us wait. And by the way, if she didn't want us to leave the classroom and she was smart enough, she would wait until the very end of class to pass out the sign-in sheet. But instead she doesn't do that and passes it out at the beginning of class. So that way if you sign in, you get credit for the class and you can leave. So I sign in, and I don't tell her anything, and I just go. So I leave, and there's this different person in there that I am friends with from another class. that told me that something was going on in the classroom. She told me that the teacher was catching on to people leaving after I left, and after they signed in, she told the teacher, "Hey, I have an advisor appointment. I need to leave." And she was lying. And the teacher's just like, "Where's your proof?" So she's just like, "Well, she didn't email me. I just talked to her on the phone. So can I go over there and see if I can schedule a different time?" And she said, "Yeah, go ahead." So she goes, and then she had to come back because her friend that was in the same class texted her saying that she was checking to see if everyone was there. Like, walking around with the sign-in sheet, checking off names that she actually saw. Like, people she actually saw in the classroom. She freaked out and came back because she didn't want to be marked absent. So she came back and told the teacher, "Okay, we canceled the appointment, we're going to make it some other time." And she said, "Good, math is more important anyway." And she said, "Oh, sure." So at the very end of class, before anyone can leave, she said, "Everyone line up by the door." She's never done this before, by the way. "Everyone line up by the door, and when you walk out, I will cross your name off to say that you're here." So she does this, and apparently she gets bored or something, and the last 10 people at the end of the line, she X'd out, saying that they weren't there even though they were. So she was giving false credit. Now, I could have fought this so hard because there are literally no cameras in her room, and I told my math teacher about this, and she told me to fight for my attendance. And at first I'm just like, here I go again, making a big deal than it doesn't need to be. And I can miss 4 classes before I drop a letter grade. So I'm just like, it's not worth my time, she's not worth my time, she's not worth my effort. At this point, I was just using my math coach to help me with my math test, so that way I didn't fail my math test. So that way I didn't get a failing grade and have to retake the class with the same person. So I'm just like, you know what, I'll forget about it. I won't even worry about it. I signed my name in pen, that's all I can do. And I forgot about it because honestly it just wasn't worth my time and my energy, especially since my energy was being spent on all the other homework I had and my mental disability, I guess you could say. So that was the teacher problem, and after I started having those problems, I kind of let them slip by because I was just so exhausted from fighting so hard and being so irritated all the time that I just became really a really irritated person and really irritating to be around. And I kind of noticed that, and I'm just like, more like, get the hippie vibe, let it go. And as soon as I started letting go of these teachers, another teacher of mine starts pissing me off a lot because she was so unorganized and would tell us, "Here's a class book that I want you to read. You're okay to buy it now." So instead of telling us, "Okay, go and see if you can get the book at the library, the college library, or see if you can find it in the public library. And if you can't at that point, I would suggest to buy it because you need it, or you can look online to see if there is an ebook or a PDF." But instead she said, "Go ahead and buy it right away. Just buy it." And I'm looking at her, I'm just like, with what money? We're college students. We have bills to pay. And some people don't get full rides. Not all people are that lucky. Except for, not even gonna brag, okay? But I was very, very, very fortunate to get a full ride to college. And I'm just saying this as a potential situation where I would actually be paying to go to college, because for my situation, it's very beneficial for me to get paid, to get a free college experience, especially since no one in my family was willing to help me pay for any of my college experience. And if I didn't have this happen to me with such luck and such a benefit, I would have been in a lot of debt like anyone else with college and schooling. So I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful, and I'm just telling you what I have been through. And yeah, it could be irritating to me, and I could be just taking advantage of the situation, and I could be just a selfish brat, but I'm just telling you what I've been through, and it's difficult for everyone in different things, and you can't just force your opinion on something and someone with their personal experiences, because people have bad days, whether or not they have money or wealth or good fortune or good luck or being poor or having love. It just depends on the person. You can have a bad day whether you're lucky or wealthy or not. So this is just my opinion, like always. And you don't have to agree with it, but I'm just letting you know what I've been through, just so that way if you're coming through the same thing, you can know that you're not alone. So I hope that makes sense a little bit. Since my mental ability, I guess you can say, wasn't the best, I had to start thinking about going into counseling with my college, because counseling with my insurance, which is Access, didn't cost me anything. And if it's free, I might as well take advantage of it, because why not? It's there, I can use it, and I get services to help me out mentally, so that way I'm able to learn and help other people as a teacher teaching students, like little children. If I can't help myself, how am I able to help other people? So it's better for me to fix my mental health and my physical and mental being before I can help anyone else with the same thing. So I'm not talking about like therapy, like me being a therapist. I wasn't only getting trouble with these 3 teachers. I was getting trouble with my English teacher too. Now, my English teacher was not the worst, okay? I have had worse teachers than her. But she was difficult to work with, because we would have contrasting ideas of what good writing is. And I have always been a very creative writer, and I used to really, really, really enjoy writing, just because I have a humongous imagination, and I wanted to use that to my advantage because it helped me escape from reality. And her perspective of writing was way different than mine, and what I have been taught in high school and in my past of what good writing consists of. And college is way different than high school, considering the writing style that college requires. And she required something completely different than what I have learned in the past. And she expected everyone to know what good writing was and how to order it in the way that you should according to college standards. But it was so different than high school that I was just so confused, and I just didn't know what was going on. I was so stressed. So I wrote 4 essays in her class, like, I guess you can say professional essays, because they were worth more points. Or not professional, I guess you can say more official than practice. And we did a lot of practice writing, and all my practice writing, she graded me really harsh. And from what I know of teachers that grade really harsh, they expect more from you, and when they grade really harsh, they want you to learn from their grading to make your work better in the future. And the way she graded was really hard for me to understand why she said what she said, because she didn't do a really great job at describing why she said what she said, and why I need to change what I do and why my methods aren't good, because her opinion reflects so much on her teaching that she can't teach effectively with her very strong-minded opinion. And when you're a teacher, you have to know that your opinion isn't everything. You have to consider everyone else's opinion too, because if you're self-centered around your own opinion, then you're not teaching anyone anything but what you want. And if you're teaching everyone about your own opinion is going to be the only thing that matters. And if you expect everyone to believe and agree with your opinion, they're not going to know how to form their own opinions and stick up for themselves and believe in themselves and have a different perspective in life that they would have by themselves. So having your own opinion and demonstrating that all the time in your class gives your students no control over being confident or even being an individual or individualizing, I think, themselves. So they're not in control of who they are, and you're forcing an opinion that is just your own. And even if you have gone through schooling in the past, you still have some points of opinion that you could make, but you can't just force people to believe in what you believe in according to your opinion, because not everyone's going to believe in your opinion, and if you give them no other option, that's all they're going to believe in, and they're going to be very hesitant to believe in anyone else's opinion, and it's just going to go on and on and on and on. People are all going to be one-sided, and everyone's just going to be very strong-minded and very stubborn and very selfish. That's all I'm going to say about her. Other than that, she was a great teacher. I enjoyed being in her class. I just didn't agree with some things that she said and thought, but if you agreed with everyone, the world would be peaceful. And does it look peaceful? No. So, I mean, things happen. You're not going to agree with everyone. And I didn't agree with her. There's some things she didn't agree with me, and it just happens. And I'm not offended, and I hope she's not offended. I don't think she would be. But, I mean, it happens. And I'm happy it happened because it's just another experience I can have with a teacher, just so that way I know what the right path is for me as teaching a classroom to the best of my knowledge. I'm just gonna wrap this up and tell you that all of my teachers, even the ones I listed, were all just trying to do their job, and they were just doing the best that they could at teaching a classroom. There might be things that I don't know or don't understand about them or why they did what they did, but that's something I never really got into myself and talked to them about it. So I'm just letting you know what I went through, and I'm not trying to bash them or bash my school. I'm just letting you know how I went through my first semester of college and all the things that happened, and it might be a disadvantage to me, but it's actually an advantage for me in the future because it's an experience in itself. Everything that happens in my life is an experience, and I'm grateful for it because every minute of my life I'm alive and I'm healthy and I'm happy, and well, right now I am, but I mean, there's so much to be grateful for, and if I just focused on all the bad things in my life would suck and I wouldn't want to be alive. So yeah, that's how my first semester of college went. If you want to hear more about my mental health, let me know and I'll talk a little bit more about it. I won't get too much into it because there's a lot of past to dig up about it, but and I'm not personally ready to tell anyone about my past and what had happened to me, but I'm okay with telling people what happens to me now because I am in a better place. So I hope you enjoyed. I just wanted to let you know that I did pass my first semester of college with all A's except for one B, which obviously is math, because it obviously was not my strongest suit. But yeah, I did pretty good, and I'm really proud of myself, and I stayed strong, and I was very mature throughout all of it, and, well, at some parts I was very mature, but adulting is hard, you know? And being a mature person is hard for most people. It's easy to be very mean. It's very hard to be nice all the time. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed. I know it was more ranting than you probably wanted, but that's just how I view my experience. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.